And even if we surround Jordan Love with a lot of weapons with these draft picks, if he doesn't pan out, we positioned ourselves with Aaron Rodgers playing 65% of the snaps to have a first-round pick the following year if we identify a quarterback that we like in that draft. So it gives them maneuverability. When you look at the Green Bay Packers over this last 3 years of this saga, you got 2 MVPs out of Aaron Rodgers. You made 2 playoff appearances. Obviously, last year was an anomaly. That's a successful 3-year run, right? And then you start talking about we paid him all of this money. We offload a lot of the money that we have, and now the Jets take that responsibility, and we rebuild. They're a rebuilding franchise with equity, with things in their pocket to continue to rebuild. And let's not even, what if Jordan Love pans out to be a really good quarterback? Then there will be absolutely no question who won this trade. You're dealing with a guy that may play 1 or 2 years as opposed to a franchise that has to rebuild and already with some pieces in place. I like the Packers winning this.
I like that graphic.
Marcus Spears, a.k.a. Swagu.
Get him.
I have never, ever in my entire tenure on this show with you cared less about the drivel you spewed out of your mouth than just right now. It means nothing to me. Absolutely, positively nothing. Not even the drivel you spewed about your damn Cowboys. It has never meant less to me than it has right now. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't want to hear anything about Green Bay. We got Aaron Rodgers in the Big Apple. We got Aaron Rodgers. That bad man is in the Big Apple, baby. And last time I checked, this man Swagu knows this. You can bring up a running back. You can bring up a tight end. You can bring up an offensive line. You can bring up an elite defense, which the New York Jets have. If you don't have a quarterback, it amounts to nothing in this day and age. This ain't the days when Trent Dilfer, who I love, by the way, led the Baltimore Ravens to the Super Bowl. This is a different day. This is a different time and a different era. And when you could stand in the pocket or scramble out of it to your left, to your right, and throw dimes, okay, that's one thing. Number 2, when you're succeeding Zach Wilson, it's heaven having arrived early. You didn't even have to pass away and have a funeral or write in a repast before it happened. You are alive and well, and heaven has arrived for New York City because you finally got a quarterback. Number three, let me tell you something right now. When you look at the New York Jets, as elite as this defense is, when you look at Garrett Wilson, when you look at Alan Lazard and other pieces that they're getting, when you look at Hall and the fact that he's going to be back, when you look at what they built together, I got news for you, Marcus Spears. We can talk about Aaron Rodgers with 1 year or 2 all you want to, but one of the things that he's been an expert at is getting his bag. Now, I understand parity exists in the National Football League, but there's a difference between playing in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and then you come straight off the streets of Broadway and you return them to relevancy after more than a half-century of being irrelevant. Let me tell you something right now. I don't think he's going to retire in 2 years because he's in New York. And if that brother shows up in New York and he finds a way to deliver a championship to Gotham City, do you have any idea what that's going to mean for his pockets, for his status, for the allure that New York City brings, the dollars coming off Madison Avenue? Oh, yes, the New York Jets have won this. And by the way, show them some love. Well, you know what? Love got to show some love to the Green Bay Packers fans by showing he's a worthy successor to the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a damn what anybody says. The Jets won this trade.
Dan, the only thing that would be bigger is if they paid for the right team here in New York. That's the New York Football Giants, but carry on.
Well, Stephen A., real quickly, Marcus Spears played defensive tackle most of his life, so he knows what a quarter century of irrelevancy feels like.
Shots fired today.
I didn't say that about you, Swagu.
All right.
I didn't say that
about you. I'm just waiting on my time to talk. I'm just waiting on my time to talk.
You took 9 minutes before. I'll ask you a real question here, honest question. Yesterday morning, if the Packers, this trade never happens, yesterday morning comes, are the Packers Super Bowl contenders?
No, I don't believe so.
With Aaron Rodgers, the Packers wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders this year? You're out of your mind, dude.
I don't think so.
All right, well, that's incorrect. You're out of your mind. The Packers yesterday morning, if this trade was never going to be a part of the conversation.
I was under the presumption that he wasn't going to play. I'm sorry. Yeah, if he played, absolutely. I was under the presumption that it was going to be tumultuous. Go ahead.
And were the Jets, as of yesterday morning, Super Bowl contenders yesterday morning?
No.
Okay, so the Jets, as of this morning, are Super Bowl contenders, and the Packers are no longer. The Jets absolutely won this trade. Now, yeah, of course we have to see how it plays out on the field. If the Jets go and win the Super Bowl, this is a home run for them. If Jordan Love goes on to be a Hall of Famer or a really good player and the Packers don't skip a beat and they have another 15-plus years of high-end quarterback play, well, it's going to look like they won the trade. But the Jets had no chance to win the Super Bowl yesterday. Yesterday morning, they were not in that first tier with Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. They are now. Just to put this into context, in their 10 losses last year, this is from Hembo, in their 10 losses last year, the Jets scored 7 touchdowns on offense over the course of 10 games. You don't think Aaron Rodgers scored a couple more touchdowns? In their 5 games that they lost last year, they scored 0 touchdowns. Or they had 5 games last year, they scored 0 touchdowns. They were 6-2 when they scored multiple touchdowns. So this is a team that, we talked about this on Get Up a little bit. Who's got the best defense in the AFC?
Jets.
Okay, so you're putting a quarterback that's got the best defense in the AFC with a top 5 skill group. You mean to tell me that you can sit here and say the Packers right now won this trade? There's no way you can say that honestly.
And this is the moment we were talking about it. I wanted to deliver it for everyone at home here. When Dan, Marcus, Laura, and Mina found out in real time on air from the one and only Adam Schefter that Aaron Rodgers was officially a New York Jet. That is a classic. You need to get that printed, blown up, put on your walls. What a moment.
I will have that in the office. I will get that one made for the office.
Absolutely. And
I didn't know Swagu had an office. When did that happen? I wasn't aware. I'm just asking. I didn't know.
He's got a palatial state.
Man, I've had an office since you know me. Yeah. You know I had a career before TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know he played a couple of years in the NFL, right?
Okay. I didn't know he had an office. He said an office. I was like, yeah, they're giving out offices now. I didn't know. What I'm saying is that was the word about Aaron Rodgers. So what we're looking for from Aaron Rodgers is a return to what we once saw, because we've seen the ability over the years. We just haven't seen it in the moments lately when we expected it, against San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, against Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game. Even though San Francisco was a far superior team that year, they went to the Super Bowl against Kansas City, and we all knew that Green Bay couldn't mess with them. They were supposed to beat Tampa. They didn't get that done. They lost in the playoffs to Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco again at Lambeau Field, where Aaron Rodgers was putrid and they didn't put up good numbers. And, of course, they didn't make the playoffs this year because they lost the season finale to the Detroit Lions, of all people, led by Jared Goff. We get that. But we still have never questioned the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. We're looking at Josh Allen, and even though we knew he was on a come-up, right, we were really bloviating about what we expected from him because he was that dude. And the only excuse we were willing to give him is if you ran into Patrick Mahomes. Well, guess what? Now you ran into Joe Burrow, too. And we've seen that there was a precipitous drop-off in terms of the numbers of mistakes he was making. Some plays, like, that game against Miami in the regular season, they were looking at him. Uncanny mistakes. You going up against Miami. You made some mistakes, stuff like that. We're looking at him. And we said, Brian Daboll ain't there anymore. And so because Brian Daboll was gone last year and we saw a drop-off, I'm saying Josh Allen has something to prove. Aaron Rodgers just has to validate what we know about him. Josh Allen got to show us Joe Burrow ain't that dude. Patrick Mahomes, even though he is that dude, you can take him. And now he's got Aaron Rodgers to be concerned about as well. And we didn't even bring up Lamar Jackson, assuming he's come back. And that's the difference. That's why I'm saying, from a talent perspective, I get where you're coming from, Dan, based off of all the things that we've talked about. But remember, we're still waiting for Josh Allen to close the deal.
That's a fair point.
With Aaron Rodgers, we're just trying to be reminded of what he's already done.
Man, see, first of all, I wanted to go back to the whole conversation, but that you told me the dribble that I spewed in the previous conversation, you just spewed some foolishness.
I did.
We still waiting on Aaron Rodgers to prove he can win another Super Bowl. You have even said that on your show.
I just said that now.
About you ain't waiting on them to prove
But
that.
you just said validate.
Well, validate for Josh Allen in his 6th year. He's in his 6th year in the NFL. Josh Allen got a whole career ahead of him, barring he doesn't get injured. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers maybe playing 1 or 2 more years. We are waiting for Aaron Rodgers to validate that he can get a team over the hump to a Super Bowl. And there is no more pressure than right now. The excitement that you and Dan Orlovsky has right now. So, Stephen A., the clear answer is Josh Allen is the top dog in the conference. You just made the argument that we waiting on Josh Allen to prove that. Josh Allen has proven that he's the top guy right now in the AFC East at playing quarterback. We're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to prove that he can win the Super Bowl.
He's proven that he's the top dog in the AFC in the AFC East before Aaron Rodgers arrived.
Yes.
But now that Aaron Rodgers is there,
right now.
I'm saying to you, Aaron Rodgers is going to be that top dog in the AFC East until Josh Allen shows. Now he got to go against Aaron Rodgers.
So Josh Allen shows what?
Excuse me.
That's what I'm saying.
Excuse me, y'all. Hasn't Josh Allen tailed off since Brian Dable departed? Yes or no?
Stephen A., you're talking like there was this. Yes, he threw more interceptions last year than he did the year before, but that's football,
14.
Stephen A. Like sometimes, no, that's football. Sometimes you're going to get a bounce.
What do you need to see from Allen? A deeper run?
But he's also
right. Time out.
But he's also asked.
Ask
Go
me
ahead.
more.
Finish your thought. What do we need to see from him?
That you're going. First of all, that you're going to take the AFC East with Aaron Rodgers in the conference playing against you twice a year that you got to go against, and secondly, that you're going to beat Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow.
Stephen
What's wrong with that?
For like 500 yards 2 years ago against Patrick.
I know that.
No.
I know that, which is why we were raving about him being that dude. And then Dable departed, and there was a drop-off. Y'all said that.
Stephen A.
Ain't making it up. Y'all said that.
The drop-off still even with the drop-off, he's the best in the AFC East.
I'm saying to you,
touchdowns at 14.
I'm saying to you, we're not having a conversation about him being the best in the AFC East if Aaron Rodgers doesn't arrive. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't arrive. But because Aaron Rodgers is there, I believe in a New York Jets uniform, Aaron Rodgers is going to be better than Josh Allen.
Stephen A.,
How is that wrong? How am I on your
show? You can believe that.
I was on your show last year. When you uttered the words, he ain't that bad man anymore.
Because when he looked awful, I called it as I see it. I got it. But I'm looking at the Jets defense. I'm looking at the multitude of opportunities he's going to have. I'm looking at Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and what they got with him. And I'm saying, based on what I've seen from Buffalo, based on Tua's questionable health in Miami, based on Mac Jones and Bill Belichick in New England, why the hell are y'all looking at me like I've lost my damn mind?
Yeah, we're not talking about
saying that he might not be better than Aaron Rodgers.
We're talking about the individual.
I am talking about
the individual guy.
Did I not say Aaron Rodgers? Did I not? I didn't say that just the team. I said Aaron Rodgers. That is an individual name. Last time I named his brother said Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen. I am talking about the individual. Y'all acting like I've lost my damn mind. Y'all didn't watch Josh Allen last year?
Let me ask
you didn't watch Josh Allen last year?
He was better than Aaron Rodgers last year.
Excuse me.
He was better than Aaron Rodgers last year.
Listen, I didn't see that in the postseason from either of them. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.